Word on the streets, it's Bowls and Beats. What's good, B&B fam? And welcome back to another episode with your girl, X. As you might know, my birthday just passed, so yes, I'm another year older, wiser, and hotter. And speaking of confidence, today we're going to be talking about owning who you are no matter where you come from, who you are, or what you do. And here to join the conversation is an amazing entrepreneur from Toronto and a boss-ass babe. Let's welcome Jency. Woo! So I brought you here because of that reason. Like, you're so confident in who you are. You built your own brand from scratch, which I want to talk about that too. For the people that don't know what you do, tell them about your brand.
So guys, my name is, again, Jency Abarca. I'm the owner of Toronto's newest streetwear brand. It's called VYB3 CO. We've been around, we initially started in 2016. We actually sort of similar to you. We started not with so much of a podcast, but a blog, and it was covering hip hop and urban culture. So we had like original hip hop discussions, like exploring like the state of the culture, who was contributing to it. And then I just knew that I wanted to do something more with the brand. So I started looking into logos. I created the logo, and then fast forward to 2017, I ended up just releasing our first series of beanies. At first, I thought that I was worried. I'm like, oh, we're not going to sell anything. I'm going to get stuck with all this inventory. But we got sold out within the first 2 hours. And then I sort of saw that I had something then. So I started becoming a lot more passionate about it. And I started identifying it with the brand a lot more. And I think that was a game changer for us since then.
Amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
So how do you feel like while building your brand, you've also built your confidence?
Oh, definitely build my confidence, because before, like I always used to say, like, I don't like sales. I don't like being in sales. But then I slowly realized it's so funny. Like I often say God is a comedian, and this is what sort of I mean. It's like your talents are going to be hidden in the things that you detest doing sometimes. And like at first I was very discouraged going into sales. I didn't know, if I could even sell anything. But ironically enough, the year before I started Relaunch Vibe, I actually went into a corporate career. I went in as finance manager. I'm still a finance manager. I work for automotive. But I ended up getting fired from that job. And from there, I was just like, okay, like, what am I going to do? Am I going to go back to finance manager? I'm going to go into a Vibe. But because I did that role, it gave me the confidence into relaunching Vibe. And it gave me the confidence to approach people and just start a conversation. I realized that sales is all about rapport. And the minute you make somebody feel good about themselves, the minute you allow them the floor to talk about themselves, and you even forget about your brand, they'll be more inclined to ask you, like, hey, like, what is this about? Why are you here? And that's sort of how it's worked on my pop-ups. So I think that's what gave me the confidence. Was my corporate career ended up setting me up for a Vibe. That's ultimately what happened.
Honestly, everything happens for a reason.
Right.
Because one thing I've learned is you might not understand in the moment. You might not even understand from a year's time.
Girl.
Maybe even 5 years, and you're like, oh, I needed that to happen to be where I am today.
Yeah. And my mom, when she used to tell me everything happens for a reason, shout out Adrienne Gentio Barca, I used to hate it. I'm like, don't tell me that. What do you mean? Like, I used to like freak out on her, like, wrong timing, girl. Like, but
For sure.
I definitely agree with you, though. Everything does happen for a reason.
And I feel like building your own brand also makes you stronger. Like, it makes your skin thicker.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, there's days where you get no sales. There's days when you get no views. Nobody gives a shit about what you're doing. Especially when you're starting. Nobody cares. Everyone's talking shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So what keeps
definitely.
you going on those bad days?
So I think it's so funny how you touch on this, because not this weekend that passed, but the last weekend, I was doing a pop-up at Shop D&J. Shout out Shop D&J's. But it was when I was doing their pop-up like 2 weeks ago, I was like ironing the clothes, and I'm like, is there even a point to this? Like, what if I make no sales? And then like that moment, it got me to reflect, and it's like, what does keep me going? And it's the fact that I'm passionate. I'm passionate because of the fact that I know when I was growing up for a very long time, like even well into my 20s, like right now I'm 34. I'm about to turn 35.
Damn.
Yeah. So next, thank you, girl. But yeah, so next month I'm about to turn 35. But when I was in my 20s, I felt extremely lost. I remember venting to a friend during that time, and I'm like, I just feel so talentless. Like at that time, I had I used to do spoken word poetry, but it's like, where was that going to lead me? So I felt sort of lost. I didn't know which direction to take. So I was telling her, like, I feel so talentless. Like, what am I going to do? And I was just so lost. And then I remember at that time, like, I felt talentless because everything that was being sort of that's blasted in the media, right, is like, you're a singer, you can dribble a ball, you can kick like Messi. And it's like, when you don't have that special talent, you almost feel like, well, what is my talent? And then as I grew older, I realized that the fact that people can relate to me, the fact that I can make people laugh, complete strangers, the fact that people can, like, I captivate the room. Like, when I speak with confidence and authority. And ironically enough, I realize now that I got that from my father, because my father is a pastor. So it's like, that's why I speak with the confidence that I do, because I really think that it's God given. Like, God's like, you know what? I'm going to project my confidence into you, and you're going to own the room. Every single setting that I put you in, you're going to blossom and you're going to own it. And it's just, that's the way that I sort of carry myself, because I know that I get my strength and I guess my understanding from a higher force. Right. So, yeah.
Wow. That was a great little preach over there.
Thank you.
Damn. Preacher's daughter. No, I love that. I actually like that you brought that up, because I believe that everyone has a purpose. Like, we're very in an era where everybody, like you said, needs to be a singer, needs to be this, like, you need a label to be worthy of something. And it's like, you can be all the above. Like, you can just be a mother. Like, especially on social media right now, we have this soft girl era versus boss babe era.
Oh my
And it's
goodness.
like, you have to pick a side. Like, you can do both.
Yeah,
it's called passion and purpose.
Exactly. Like, I definitely agree with you.
Like, I'm all for, wanting to be a full-time mom. Like, you don't want to work, you want to focus on your kids. That's so cool. But when your kids grow up, what are you going to do?
Where's your identity
Where's
outside
the
of that?
passion?
Exactly.
Where's the hobbies? Like, regardless if your brand takes off and becomes successful or not, you need a passion and a hobby to have a purpose, right?
Exactly.
Something that keeps you going.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what kept me going too. At first, obviously, nobody was tuning in. Everyone's like, what the heck is this? Like, weed and music. Yeah. What the hell? But now, I mean, I pushed through it. I knew what my purpose was. I'm like, I healed through music. I healed through herbs. Like, I went through my own experience for this reason. For people who can relate. And you mentioned that you did spoken word.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I did for a very, very long time. I think when I was here with Jonah, I did do like one of the pieces. Like, it took me forever to find this poem. But yeah, I used to do spoken word. I did it from thank you. I did it from like 15 up until like about 24. I used to do like, open mics, poetry slams. I won a couple competitions. But I don't know. I guess like it
should have asked you to come with like a prepared little spoken word.
Right? Like, I'll see if I can hunt it down, but I don't know because of time constraint. But yeah, it's funny because like I went from poetry, like with something that I was passionate. Again, you have to go up in front of people and speak. So I think that it's always been in me to sort of, I can sort of see how it aligns with everything that I'm doing now. So yeah, I used to do spoken word. It was fun. I enjoyed it. It was something that I was very passionate about.
Do you feel like it helped you heal?
I think so.
I'm a big advocate for healing through music and herbs.
Yeah.
Like, spoken poetry is music.
Exactly.
It's just with a beat. You know what I mean?
That's what rap stands for, right? Rhythm and poetry. So definitely I felt like, and a lot of times there was this one particular poem where I know it was healing me from something, and it said it was called Unwritten Woman. I don't have it memorized anymore, unfortunately, and I don't know where it is, but it was one of those poems where when I recited it in front of a crowd, like everybody was like, wow, like I could feel the pain in that poem. And so it definitely healed moments within poetry. It healed certain parts and I guess seasons within my life, because it helped me gather understanding. Like, that was my way of reflection, right? So like I felt like craft, like music and stuff like that it's a way where artists just come and they reflect on their experiences and they sort of leave it out through their craft.
For sure. Especially like in the city of Toronto. Most of us, like probably 60% of us in Toronto, are kids from immigrants, people who have migrated here. And I don't know about y'all, but I feel like this city is just like one big city of children who got passed down a bunch of trauma from different countries. Like, they all ran away from their country because they were traumatized, and they brought it here. And we're all just here like, what?
Just trying to survive. I'm just trying to survive and figure out life.
I feel like we're all like that generation where we have to break those generational curses, right? Amen. And traumas. Yes. And herbs music is a great outlet. Obviously with discipline when it comes to herbs. Exactly. But it's so much more normalized to drink alcohol. And you know what I mean? It's really, destruction. Really, it does not heal at all.
Honestly, guys, I cannot drink now. Like, if I have one little shot in a mixed drink, the next day my head is hurting. I can't hang no more. I say it to everybody. I cannot hang no more. If you want to smoke a spliff though or a blunt, I'm your girl. But to drink, you will never in your life be like, yeah, let's go get effed up. That will never come out my mouth. I'll be like, let's go eat, let's go smoke a blunt. Like that's my vibe. Yeah.
That was me a couple of years ago, a while ago, I should say, but not anymore.
Yeah.
That girl has gone.
That
I have
girl-
elevated since
Yes,
then.
exactly.
And I
Renewed.
actually want to talk about the fact that you do use herbs, but you're a woman of God. Because there's like such a stigma when it comes to people who smoke weed that they're terrible people, we're lazy, we have like no morals. And it's such a dumb stigma because if anything, we're so spiritually in tune.
Yeah.
Especially when you use herbs. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You're grounding yourself, you meditate.
Yeah. So I think that for the most part, what I always tell people is that, and I think that overall, I think that the way that the media or I guess society projects God or represents God is like you have to be perfect before you come to Christ, or you have to make sure to be squeaky clean before you come to God. Like, so drop the habit of smoking or partying or this, but like what God encourages you is to come as you are, and slowly what he offers us is conviction. So there's certain things that I've been convicted of that I grew out of the habit. So I grew out of the habit of going out to party every single weekend. It doesn't have any interest to me, you know, or going out to drink and getting like totally slaughtered. Like, it's just not something that interests me no more. So it's like when it comes to cannabis, I personally feel like it doesn't really harm anybody. That's just my opinion. But I also recognize the other edge of the sword, I guess, because of my father, where it's like slowly you'll start to sort of like let go of things, old habits or something like that. But in my personal opinion, I just don't think that God's gonna look at you and be like, oh, because you smoked weed, you're going to hell. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like the mentality of some Christians. So I definitely understand where you're coming from. So I guess like it's important for people like us, like, yeah, we do smoke weed. We're not horrible people, bro.
Yes.
Like, we have things going on in our lives.
Yes,
We're not
literally.
bums, you know? So
Do you feel like we'll ever be able to like kind of mend that bridge between religion and people who smoke weed? Because you don't really see that. Like, people don't really talk about, you know, being a religious person and still using herbs.
Yeah, I think that ultimately, when it comes down to it, we know the type of, I guess, individual that Christ calls us to be. But ultimately, it just comes down to the individual and what it is that they're ready for. And personally, me, like I said, I don't think it's the biggest deal, but I do understand the other side of things only because I understand it from, I guess, a pastor's perspective, where it's like you have to be renewed, I guess, in Christ, and you're reborn. So it's like if you're being reborn, you can't carry the old habits that you used to have in your new rebirth. So I understand that part, but I think that everybody sort of grows at their own pace.
Right.
And I don't think that it's
Right.
up to me to be like, oh, you know what? You'll be more of a Christian if you stop doing that. It's like, who
Right.
the F am I?
Right.
Like, I'm still a sinner.
And it
I
be
still
those people
swear.
that don't drink, don't smoke, that are like, I'm like so good, that talk the most shit about other people, bring people down.
Gossip.
Like, God would not want you to do that, sis.
Exactly. So I always say that what I always say to people is like, don't judge me because I sin differently than you. Right?
Ooh,
Don't
that's a
judge
good
me because I
one.
sin differently than you, because there's not one person on earth that isn't a sinner. Not one. Not one. If you find them, call my line. Okay? I'll give you $1 million that I don't have.
That's a great point. You know, that's a great point.
So that's
And I
just
like
the-
that you said that, because when I stopped drinking, I like let go of a lot of bad habits too. And honestly, I've been like the healthiest and happiest I've ever been right now. Just minding my business, doing me, smoking some herbs here and there. You know what I mean? And it's hard to like be proud of yourself when you have other people doing those things. Like, you need to stop smoking. You're still not doing as good as you should be doing. And it's like, but I'm proud of myself. And that's where confidence comes from. It's like, I know my intentions. I know who I am, who I want to be, who I'm striving to be. And it's a good person.
Exactly.
Regardless
Yeah,
of how you're
exactly.
perceiving it.
I definitely agree with you. So just about like staying grounded within yourself and knowing who you are, so nobody can shake that or rattle
sure.
that, right?
So how did you continue to build your confidence, even though there was obviously times where the business wasn't popping off, or people might have been talking like, oh, look at this girl trying to run her little business.
Oh. Trust me, I still get the how's your little business going?
Right,
You know?
right.
So I think what keeps me going again is just that I'm passionate. I'm passionate because I'm building a legacy behind Vibe. It isn't just, I'm not just trying to sell you streetwear so that I can become rich off of your bag. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to, if you identify with somebody that you feel lost, you feel like you don't have a purpose, you feel like you don't have a special gift, that's sort of like, we're speaking to that 1% of people where it's like you feel like you don't belong somewhere, you feel like, oh, here, like you're talentless. We just encourage everybody. Again, we always say you don't need to kick like Messi, you don't need to shoot like Kobe, you don't need to rap like Drake. You just need to find what you do and give it 365. There's no special formula. It's just consistency. It's confidence. It's pitching yourself, because a lot of times the worst thing that we fear is being rejected. Right. It's not that bad, bro. It is not that bad. Somebody telling you no, somebody telling you, nah, I don't believe in your vision. There's been so many people like within Toronto that, let's just say, they have a bigger platform. I could easily look at them and be like, oh, but you're not putting me on. It's like, you know what? You don't got to put me on, because once I put myself on, nobody can say, oh, you wouldn't have that if it wasn't for me.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So like for me, I think that that's what keeps me going, is just the fact that I'm building something, and along the way, I'm slowly building a community of people that see what it is that I'm building. Yes. And I think that the story behind Vibe now is just much more passionate because of the fact that I did get fired. The fact that I can tell you, I started this from scratch. What's your excuse? I was fired too. I was told that I wasn't good enough. I was told that I'm not enough. I was told that I suck at my job. So I have a sad story too. It doesn't change the fact that I got shit to do. You know what I mean? Nobody's going to come and save me. Nobody. Not my mom. Honestly. Not my man. Nobody. No one's going to come and save me.
So true. And that's why I think it's important to kind of drive your business off of passion and purpose, because if you're not getting the funds, you're not getting the clout, what's keeping you going? Exactly. And a lot of these people are doing it for the clout. They are doing it for the funds. And then when it doesn't pop off, they give up. Yeah. Because they have no purpose. They have no drive. And they're like, whatever. Yeah. Like this person didn't put me on. I didn't get 1 million views. It's not working.
Exactly. And that's why I released that video the other day, is like, if you're trying to pursue your dreams for like the bottom line, stop while you're still ahead. Don't even take the first step, because you're not going to see that return on your investment for a very, very long time.
Right. And it's funny too, because nowadays people will see views and think that means success. It's like, once I get the clout, oh, I'm going to pop off. No. There's a lot of people on social media being used. Yeah. Not getting paid for it. Literally content being recycled that's not even made from specific people. Like, no one's getting paid for clout. Like, let's be real. No one's getting paid for clout. You're getting paid to, take videos, provide good content, but no one's getting paid for clout. Yeah, exactly. Clout is negative energy. Yeah. Which is crazy, because everyone wants clout so bad till they get it and they realize, oh, I don't want all these eyes on me. Yeah. I don't want all these haters commenting under my videos. You know what I mean? No. It's almost like being famous.
Yeah, no, definitely. And like
why would you want to be famous without being rich?
Yeah, no.
Nobody wants that.
Yeah, no. Like, imagine, like, you just got divorced and there's like 1 million paparazzi. Hey, how do you feel? It's like, bro, I feel like crap, bro. Like, I feel my heart is broken. Okay? Do you want to know? I'm crying myself to sleep. Yeah, okay? I'm eating ice cream every day. Okay?
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And that's why I'm actually trying to base it off community as well. Like, people see me online, but people also know me offline. And which is so important. Yes. Yeah. I'm like, you guys, like, the followers don't equal sales. It's the interaction, the one-on-ones. That's a customer for life. Yeah. That's a viewer for life.
Yeah. When you make someone laugh, when they can relate to you, when they can experience your energy. Yes. And that, it makes a difference, because like, even in my pop-ups, like, you'll never pass by my booth and I'm just sitting behind my table. I'm like, my lower back hurts because I'm like standing for hours on end, like just greeting everybody that comes through. I ignore Vibe. Like, this could be my vibe. I'm like, hey, how's summer? Like, what brought you in here? Like, da-da-da-da. Like, and then slowly, because of that interaction, people are like, oh, well, what are you doing here? What do you do? And then you sort of show them Vibe. And I've had people say, I'm just going to buy something from you because you're not a shark. Like, you were talking about everything and anything but your brand, So
honestly, and especially in this era where there's so many like boss babes, now you see women being like entrepreneurs everywhere. Do you find that it's hard to like sustain a normal relationship? Do you think it's possible? Because we have two like arguments going on social media. It's like, you can't be a boss and take care of your family at the same time.
I think it depends. Like, if you're a boss babe in the corporate world, or like me, like, right? If you're trying to build yourself off based on your corporate career, I think it makes it a little bit more challenging, because the reason why it's more challenging is because you're working on someone else's time. when you're an entrepreneur, you're a boss babe and you build something from scratch, you're working on your own time. So you get to pick and select which opportunities are for you or which opportunities work best with your schedule. So I think it depends on what it is that you're doing, that it may conflict in more than the other. I do think that you're able to have both, but it also depends on the partner that you have. Like if you have a partner that isn't working towards their own goals, that doesn't have their own ambitions, that doesn't have their own visions, that it's going to be extremely discouraging and it's going to be extremely challenging. But when you're with the right partner, like I remember being, in a partnership recently, and we were both on our grind. We were both working towards something, right? So it would be one of those sessions where it's like they'd come home from work and we'd be working on reels together. So it's like we would feed off of each other. But when you don't have the right partner in place and your partner isn't passionate about what you're doing, even if it has nothing to do with them, just the fact that you have a support system that's like, yo, that's mine. Like I'm proud of that. I want to show that off. Like it makes a whole difference. So just with ladies, if you want to have both, I think that the formula to have both is to start your own thing so you can work on your own schedule. You're not working under somebody else. And you're also not taking anybody else's BS. Because being in Mitsubishi and Honda, I'm taking on BS all day from people that I don't like, people that I don't want to work with, customers that are just miserable and they decide to come and shit on me. So it's like, it makes it a little bit more challenging, where it's like when you're doing something that you love to do and you're working on your own terms, you're just passionate about it and it never stops.
And there's nothing wrong with trying. You know what I mean? Like,
not at all.
You don't have to, again, pick and choose, have a label. You can try. If it doesn't work out, whatever. You want to put it on hold, put it on hold. Exactly. But I think, like you said, the most important thing is like having that security, that in case backup, and even having a community. Like we were talking about, like a lot of times your kids will grow up and then these stay-at-home moms are like, what do I do now with my life? Or they get divorced and they're like, what the fuck do I do with myself?
No identity.
When you have a community, it's like a sisterhood, And I feel like back then we were more like village based. They used to say like it takes a village to raise a kid, and now everybody's very like individual, secluded. Like there's not much community going on. No. And that's why I'm trying to bring it back, because like when there's a community of women, like we heal together. We're literally healers. Like that's what women are. We're healers. So when we come together, like the energy in that space is just like, it's incredible.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you.
I just feel like we don't have enough time nowadays because it's always go, 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 working.
Literally. Well, because like, man, you have to make what, $250,000 to survive in Canada now? Like, holy jeez.
That's a whole nother topic.
Like, holy.
Setting us up for failure.
Trudeau
honestly.
must go. That's all I have to say. You can censor that out, but that's my opinion.
No, but honestly, like the city is getting a little bit crazy.
But I think it's the overall justice system in Canada. I don't even think it's just so much against. I think it's just anything, because when we look at that case, what is it, Mendoza case? What is that? The guy who got out of the airport, got in his car and just slaughtered an entire 3 kids and a grandfather. He didn't get any time in jail either. As a matter of fact, the family name is slapped on the Mackenzie Hospital. So it's like every single time that the family drives by that hospital, it's a reminder of who slaughtered, took away members of their family. And then tragedy struck a year later because then the father ended up committing suicide because of that. So it's like you just see the domino effect that a lack of discipline and I guess a lack of judicial justice like happens within our system. But yeah, like that's a topic for a different day, but it's sad. I think that it's just overall, not even just against women. I think that it's overall, but I do agree that women aren't as protected. But I just think also it's the narrative that are sort of out there, and it's also the type of, not for anything, is the type of women that is being displayed now, right? Like when you look at Fresh and Fit, or you look at like all these major podcasts, who are they getting on their birds? I'm sorry, you're a bird. You're an OF bird. Yes. That's what you are, bro.
God,
that's your talent. So at the end of the day, I got something between my legs too, and I got something on my face. But at the end of the day, I don't want to make money off of that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because like I look at my nieces. I have 3 nieces that look up to me. Actually, I have more. And I think about the message that I'm trying to sell to them. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, yeah, that's free for you to sell. Like that's easy for anybody to sell. But try building something from scratch. Right. Try building a brand legacy. Try convincing someone.
It also devalues like women's body. Like we are the center of the universe because of our body. Like our body is so powerful. It runs the world, and all these girls on OF and, doing all that shit, they're literally devaluing a woman's body. And we'll have guys, like, not even value a woman's body nowadays because it's like, oh, I can just go on social media and look at another one. Like,
exactly.
who gives a fuck about yours?
Why would I put in effort for you when I can go across the street and not put zero effort and get everything that I want?
Exactly. And again, I think that's a lack of community within women. Like, we need more community for women to hold each other accountable and be like, you don't need to be doing that. You're valued so much more than that. Because let's be real, all those women are insecure. That's why they're doing that.
Exactly.
They want validation.
And there's like, obviously there's traumas that are tied into things but I think that it goes into that boss babe era. It goes into clout, like you've been saying. Clout. I think it's the fact that, somebody is on a private jet in Dubai. I want to get that. I don't know how to get that, so I'm just going to utilize this way to get it. Yeah. So I just think that it's important. Like, we're saying all of this to say, I think it's important to have women like me and yourself, or like my girl Bianca or my girl Cynthia that are starting their own brands from scratch and they're just like, you know what, you don't gotta do that. Or like you
can make it the right way.
You're collaborating with the Pink Room, right?
Maria.
Her. Another entrepreneur, like, didn't have to do all of that. Beautiful girl, like, you know what I'm saying? Pushing her brand, pushing herself. So it's just like, there's women, like, imagine if the podcast were to interview people like us, and guys would be like, oh, not every girl is a bird. They're not trying to sell themselves.
Like, I actually respect women now.
Exactly. Like, wow, she actually has something captivating to say, you know? So I think that's where it's going wrong, is just because of how glamorized it's being. Like, I even remember my girl saying, like, oh, I would never want my kid to be a stripper or something. And some girl in our class got offended, like, why? That's still a job. I'm like, okay, so then you mean to tell me it's still a job? So you would encourage your little girl from small to be a stripper to sell her body then, because that's just a job. She's like, well, no, that's different. I'm like, no, it's not different. It's either you agree with it or you don't. And if you don't agree, you can't have your foot in and your foot out. Like, it doesn't make no sense,
Pick a side.
Yeah. Pick a side to stick to it, you know?
No, 100%. I agree. But again, that's why we need community. It's for women to get together and kind of remember who we are. Because again, all these social media platforms, the government, everything, it's all run by men.
Yeah.
Let's be real. So if the patriarchy is not going to help us, we got to get together and help ourselves. You know what I mean? It's like, we can't be on siding with the guys, and who's going to be coming to save us? Who cares about us? Nobody.
Exactly.
Like, we don't care for each other. Who will?
Yeah. I forgot to completely go live. But it's okay. Well,
it's okay. We'll have to tune
next
in.
time.
But with that being said, speaking of community, before we wrap this up, I'm actually going to be doing a cake and bake event.
Exciting.
For like women to get together in the community and just like bake cakes, decorate, talk to each other. You know what I mean? Be in an energy that's very positive, very uplifting, reminding us who we are and how powerful we are. Because when we're united, like, there's nothing we can't do.
No,
like, who run the world? Girls. It's for a reason.
Yeah,
you know what I
for
mean?
sure.
So don't let them take your power, boo. You got to own who you are, because at the end of the day, as long as you got the little kitty in between your leg, you have power already, honey. And I hate that women cannot see that. I hate seeing women who are insecure, women on OnlyFans, like selling the kitty. It's like, girl, you can just get a man to provide for you if you actually tried to get a relationship and be a good woman, which is so much better than selling your kitty online and ending up alone and miserable.
We're backwards. We're going backwards in society.
There's a lot of things that aren't being shown on social media, like, the bad side of clout, the bad side of all this sexualizing and all this stuff like that.
Exactly.
But that's why we got to get together in real life.
Exactly.
Again,
but that's why you guys have to come out to cake and bake, help support community, help support like women that are getting together and are actually encouraging other women to come together, and like positive events, you know, and like it's just something different. Like, I like the entire concept behind it. So I think that more events like that will get more women to come out and see that there's more of a community in Toronto.
Absolutely. Because I feel like there's no big platform in Toronto that's woman led.
No,
there isn't. No, they're all run by mans.
Exactly, and it's the same with streetwear, right? Streetwear is mainly all male dominated. Yes. So the fact that we're coming through is like, no, we got our own little flavor and our own little twist on it.
Yes.
So,
which, by the way, go check it out, because she has cute fits.
Yes,
I need to buy a couple. I saw that baby pink one.
Yeah,
so cute.
I actually did bring you a little something, because I know it was your birthday. Jonah, don't kill me. It wasn't your birthday when I came here, okay? No fue tu cumpleaños. So I did bring you a little something. I didn't bring it up with me, but I'll go and get it. Do you mind if I give like a little last minute shout out?
Okay. Of course. Just let everybody know who you are, what you do, what they can expect from you, and who you want to shout out.
Perfect. So, guys, once again, my name is Gencia Barca. I'm the owner of VYB3 CO.
Pew, 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 pew.
And the brand legacy that we're building behind VYB, if this resonates with you, if we celebrate legacy, we celebrate like your legacy behind your purpose, grind, and ambition. You don't need to kick like Messi. You don't need to shoot like Kobe. You don't need to sing like Mariah. Just find what you do and give it 365. That's what we encourage all our shoppers, our community to do, and that's what you guys would be relating to. In terms of ourselves, what you'll be able to look forward to is obviously new collection pieces, new pop-up events, but definitely newer collaborations. During just this year or 2 years, we've been able to connect with people like Donovan Bailey, who's a Canadian legend. Shout out Donovan Bailey. We've been able to connect with Tony Yayo from G Unit. We've been able to connect with Dave East. And most recently, we connected with DJ Adoni, which is a big Dominican DJ, international DJ. So it's just like, again, and these opportunities, they didn't come to me because I just sat there and I waited for them to land on my lap. They came because I was confident enough and within myself to say, you know what, even if you don't see the vision, I'm going to make you see the vision.
Right.
So I pitched myself to these people and they say, you know what, I like this girl's hustle. I like this girl's drive and I see what it is that she's doing. So what you'll be able to see from us is further collaborations, more connections with bigger names than us, and then hopefully more giveaways and stuff like that, and you just be able to spoil you guys with obviously more content because our content is just so amazing. So that's pretty much it, but you guys already know who you're tuned in with. It's VYB3. You already know.
Vibes. Thank you for bringing the vibes today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And I love that you mentioned that you met a lot of people, because I just want to remind you guys, like, again, just because you don't end up doing what you thought you were going to do, you never know who you might meet through those experiences, what doors might open. Like, you are the main character of your life.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like, we're all living in our own life right now. We don't see anybody else's perspective but our own. You are your own main character, so act like it.
Exactly. Definitely.
So thank you for bringing the vibes, girl.
Thank you so much for having me.
For sure.
And I look forward to seeing the episode when it comes out. Exciting.
All right, y'all. That wraps up today's episode. Thank you for tuning in. Comment, like, subscribe, all that good-ish. Word on the streets. It's Bowls and Beats.
Hey.
Bye.
Bye.
Woo, that was good.
That was good.
We'd be like, blah, 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 blah.
It was like, yo,
We can go on for hours.
Wrap it up, girl.
Love it.